Hello, everybody. As you can read, this is my first Mini 3 Pro flight. If I never find my way out of these clouds, that is. Anyway, here we go. Just got her up in the air. She's facing south, and it's a beautiful day. It's about 80 degrees out, and the wind, a little windy. Wind is coming from the south at 10 to 15 miles an hour, so I decided I would take off into the wind since this was my first flight with the normal battery, and we'll see how she goes. Always want to leave myself a little leeway coming back. The horizon looks pretty good on the Mini 3, unlike my Mini 2, which is always cantered a little bit, which they could fix very easily if they wanted to in a software update, I would figure. Anyway, flying due south here, probably about 250 feet up or so. This is basically a route that I flew with the Mini 2 not too long ago, and covering the same kind of route here. You'll kind of, if you look at my other videos, you can kind of get a comparison. It's not the exact same route, but it's very, very, very close. And see if there's any difference in picture quality. I'm filming, this is full auto at 4K, 30 frames per second. Since this was my very first flight, I didn't want to horse around too much with it. Just wanted to make sure that I managed to get a stable flight out and back. This is using the new controller, new RC controller with the screen built in. So we'll see how she goes with that. I found some shade, sitting in some shade, and I'm kind of glad I did because the screen is not washed out in direct sunlight. You can see it, but it is not the brightest screen. My Samsung S20 FE is much brighter when it's on full tilt, and it stays, unlike the iPhones, that Samsung stays at full tilt all the way. But this is plenty good. The resolution is good on it. Can't say much more about it. I mean, it was great. My hand position, I had to adjust my hand position a little bit from what I'm used to flying when I'm using my phone. So getting used to the gimbal here. I didn't go in and change any gimbal settings or anything else like that. And I started off in cine mode, and then I switched to normal mode. I believe I'm in normal mode now. I think that's what that pause was. Because I'm flying into the wind. And in the cine mode, I was not making much headway. I was making good headway. I mean, it was under 10 miles an hour, probably around there. Now I'm switching to normal mode, I think. Yeah, from cine. And want to get a little bit of distance. As you can see down below me, those little dots on that property, those are gas pumps, natural gas pumps. These people that own all this land, they that's how they can build these $1 million homes like the one you see on the right. They pump that natural gas out of there and make a pretty good profit, I would imagine, on it. So anyway, we're flying straight into the wind. Really didn't have any handling problems so far. We'll see. Like I said, I'm flying with the RC controller, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm used to having the phone on top of my hands and not looking between my hands and kind of covering up the screen a little bit. I have to position my hands, but I will say that the controller, the RC controller, is very, very light, very, very comfortable in the hand. Much more than the RCN1, I think, although I like it too. I like this controller a lot. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to. When you first set it up, there's a whole bunch. When I got it yesterday, I unboxed it and didn't do anything till this morning with it. I did try to charge the batteries. I put it on a fast charger, a 65-watt charger, the controller, and boy, she was blinking like it was going out of style. You know, it was two lights lit up and a red light, I believe. Kept blinking, and I said, "Man," I left it on all night, and I came back in the room, and it was still in the same spot. And I said, "Oh boy, I got a bad controller here that's not charging." Well, what I think I had to do first when you power that on in the aircraft. Now I did charge the aircraft, and it charged up, but the battery in the aircraft. But I think when you power it up, you do have to do all the updates first. So I went through and said it had several updates. So I had to update the controller, and it may have had an update for the aircraft too. I don't remember. But anyway, after it did the update, which was like a 1 gigabyte update or more, pretty long, I put it back on the charger, on a fast charger, and boy, she zipped off in no time at all. Got it charged, got the Mini 3 with the 34-minute battery charged. I don't like charging in the Mini 3, but I did. And I guess I could have put it, I've got the Fly More Plus kit. It comes with 2 batteries and a spot for the 3rd battery. So you do not get 3 batteries with that kit. You only get 2. Guess I could have charged it in there since they're basically the same exact size battery as far as fitting in there. But I just charged it in the quad. Did that. They all took a charge. Everything was okay. I didn't horse around too much. I set my basic settings, and return to home. Made sure that was good, and the bypass. I wanted it to stop the obstacle avoidance and not bypass things. I wanted to stop and make the decision myself if I got into trouble. So that's where that's set at. I set the return to home height, and the max distance and max height and everything. Got it all set, and didn't do anything else with the controller. I didn't set. It's got I put a memory card in there, but I did not do a screen recording. Didn't fool with that. I just wanted to get up in the air, and you know how it is when you get that first flight. You want to just see how she'll do. So anyway, flying over a couple ponds. I won't say ponds, little lakes here, man-made lakes. Are real pretty. I don't know who or what owns all this land here, but it's pretty flat and pretty wide open. I am behind one tree line that's probably, I guess, 200 yards, 300 yards in front of where I'm sitting. And once you get out at a certain range, you're below those trees. The angle is below the trees. So I have a feeling that may have something to do with the range, but it looks pretty good to me, to be honest with you. Had no glitches. It did turn to red right out here in this area, and then was it 2 red bars, and I decided I would just push it a little bit more. I never did push it to where it lost signal completely, but I got out far enough, and I stopped and brought her back home. But she's going to come home with the wind. So I think this was the 34-minute battery, and I think when I turn around up here shortly, I had about 65% left on the battery, somewhere in there, on the 34-minute battery. So I wanted to push it just a little bit more, and got where I wanted to get as far as distance. The 34-minute battery lasted great. I can't wait to try it with the Fly More Plus battery in it and see how she does. But that's at 65%, I believe, somewhere around there. So we're going to return to home, see how it functions. So That's what she's doing now. She made her turn back, and now she's flying with the wind. And she's in normal now, I think. From cinematic, I think it switches to normal on return to home. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember, she was doing 22, 23 miles an hour, I think, coming back. So just sit back and enjoy. You can see where that water has mucked up quite a bit along the shore. Had an enormous amount of rain here. Had a tornado 2 days ago pass through the city, and another one pretty close to the city. Wasn't too strong. The one that passed through the city was an EF1, and where my son lives, about 30 miles northeast of us, he had an EF2 come through his town down the main street there. Caused a little bit more damage. They were out of power for a couple of days. So it was kind of spooky. It came through at 1:30 in the morning, and my phone went off and told me there's a tornado warning in the immediate neighborhood. So time to take some shelter. But just mostly trees and stuff broke down and damaged a little bit. I think the tornado that came through our town was down for about 14 miles. So luckily there were no deaths or anything else like that. You know, there was some property damage and mostly trees, though, falling on the people's houses. I brought it up so you can see the blue sky. It's a beautiful blue sky out there, and you can see that the horizon is pretty level on this, the Mini 3 Pro, which I like very much more than the Mini 2. I'll be honest with you, though, as far as the flying and everything else, I think my Mini 2 flies just about as good as this Mini 3 does. The video, you know, it shoots 4K 30 also, and this is what this is set at, and I wanted to just take it right out of the box and fly it the way it came. So wanted to kind of give you guys a view of almost the same path I flew with the Mini 2. I think I may have gone a little bit further with the Mini 3. But no glitches to speak of. Still had, I'm thinking she had, oh golly, more than 35-40% battery left when she got back to me. I'd have to go back and look. Like I said, I didn't do the screen recording of the flight. Even though I put a memory card in there, I've heard from other friends that have the Mini 3 Pro that the screen recording is like 720 by 480 or something like that at the max. So resolution is not very good. So, you know, you wouldn't want, I don't think you'd want to put that up and post it, you know. I mean, you could, but you're not going to take advantage of your camera, what people want to see, really, you know, how the camera works and everything. So maybe I'll do some of that in the future. So I make a pretty good time on the way back. Like I said, I'm with the wind. The wind's blowing about 10 to 15 miles an hour from the south. And I'm flying due north, basically. Without a hiccup, boy. I think she handles the wind a little bit better than the Mini 2 does, even though they're rated at, I think, at the same wind level. But she handled it on the way out. I didn't have a struggle with it. I know she slowed down quite a bit on the way out, and when I was in cine mode, she really slowed down with a 15-mile-an-hour headwind, but that's what you expect. But once I put it back in normal mode, she handled the wind really, really well. So here we are coming back, crossing into our last field of trees here. And you'll see a outbuilding up here on the right, and some trees there with some shade. Well, as the Mini got closer, 3 guys just before we got into view pulled up in a car and parked right next to my truck. They got out and came over to the picnic table by me. And I don't know, they were 17, 18 years old. Looked like they were there to cuss and smoke, basically. So anyway, I was at the table about 20 feet from them. They were underneath where I usually sit at. So when I got closer here, they started getting a little rambunctious with their conversation and stuff. And I was there by myself, so I'm saying, or slow down here, slow my roll down, leave the Mini up a little bit longer than I wanted to, and just see where this goes. So, like I said, they were cursing up a storm and getting pretty rowdy. They sound like they were bruised up a little bit too. So anyway, I'm bringing her down slowly and keeping my distance right now. If something happens, and I lose my controller or something, the Mini 3 will come back and land in that spot as soon as she gets low. So, but I thought I'll bring this in. Now I'm 70 years old, so, and I've got more steel in my back and metal than you can shake a stick at, and my heart's not very good anymore. But I do hold a black belt in Kenpo Karate and a brown belt in Kung Fu. But that was from 40 years ago, 50 years ago when Bruce Lee was alive and running around. So that wouldn't help me a lot. It would help me some, but being not as mobile as I used to be, can't count on that as much as I used to. But anyway, I'm starting to get a little more comfortable. Here comes another guy pulling up. So he's going to park there next to where these kids parked at. So I said, well, this will be a good time to maybe bring it on in. So you'll see me starting to look around here. I thought, well, maybe I just land in this field over here. But the Mini 3 Pro is not anything you want to land unless you have a landing pad. And I forgot my landing pad. Can you believe that? And I don't think I've ever forgot it with my Mini 2, which has legs, which, you can land in a little bit of grass and get away with it. But the Mini 3, now she basically lands on her belly. So you definitely want something clean to land on. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to turn around and I'm going to kind of bring it in backwards towards me. I'm looking at that walking trail there. I'm interested in trails and paths through the wood, but I've got to get over this little road here. Then I've got a sign, about a 10-foot sign, metal parking sign in the air that I've got to get over to without hitting it. And then I'm under a tree. There's a tree hanging over me. So I'm trying to maneuver all of this over this. And you'll see the sign come into view in a second. Hopefully I don't hit it. Made it over the road. There's the sign I got to get over, flying backwards, and I'm underneath the tree, a big tree with overhanging limbs, probably about 20 feet over my head. But I made it back. Getting ready to land. There's a picnic table right there, since I don't have my landing mat. And bang, zoom, she's going to come down on that table. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate it. Hopefully I'll have more Mini 3 Pro content coming out very soon. She flies very good, guys. Very good. So there you go. Have a great day. Stay safe, everybody.